Corey's been helping me this morning. We've been doing a variety of different things, but we're getting hungry. It's about dinner time. We've both really been craving the fresh vegetables that this summer will bring, but it's just not time yet. It's not time for them. Of course, our warm weather stuff we've not even planted yet, except for the tomato and pepper seedlings, but we've not planted anything outside in the gardens. And the things we have planted, the cool weather crops, our cabbage and our radishes and carrots and spinach and lettuce, none of them are ready to harvest yet. So I was thinking, since we're really both kind of craving that we'd go out into the yard, walk around the garden, and just see what we can find, kind of forage through our own yard to see if there's anything out there that we can find to eat. I'm thinking I'm going to harvest some hosta shoots, maybe some dandelions. Maybe we'll look for some violet leaves or something. We'll just go out there and see what appeals to us. I've laid out 2 pieces of chicken. I'm going to fry us a little chicken, just real thin little pieces of chicken. And maybe I'll make us some fritters to go with it, and that'll be a nice little dinner. It's a really nice spring day. We're supposed to have rain, but thankfully it's not raining. But I didn't even have to step off of the deck before I seen the first dandelion. So all parts of the dandelion are actually edible. This one's a little wet, but we'll wash them when we go inside. And if you're a gardener that wants to get rid of the dandelions, it's good to get the root too, which I felt that when I broke it. I did not get the root. I'm going to I got part of it. Anyway, and then we'll take them all in and we'll clean them up. There's another one right beside it. So when I'm looking for things to harvest, I like to look in my flower beds or in the garden beds where, you need to be weeding anyway. It's kind of like you're getting more bang for your buck, I guess. You're weeding, but you're also getting something that you could eat. So here's a little dandelion. There's a nice big red worm I've disturbed. Here's some little violet leaves too. They're best when they are tender. So these little bitty ones like that would be the best. And I just like the leaves of them, but I will cut the stem off once we go inside.
Go worm, go. It's a worm race.
You can see here the hosta, some of the cold damage that we've had where they just kind of turned to mush, but they'll come back out. It'll be okay. These leaves were not affected, but that's what's happened there. That's just cold damage. So there's lots of dandelions in this part of the yard, and then you can also see that it's not going to be long before we have to mow for the first time. We were hoping we were not going to have to mow as much this year, but looks like we didn't get everything done we wanted to. So here's some of my hostas that are coming up. These were later than those that were actually damaged by the cold. So you can see, and if you've never tasted hosta before, it tastes kind of like asparagus. If you like asparagus, you'd like hosta. So I'm going to cut us some of these to saute with the dandelion greens. I'm not going to get that one. That may be one that was frozen. It feels kind of icky. Trying to feel of them. The ones that have been damaged by frost, I don't think they would taste very good. These up here are better. I think those are okay. More damage from that hard freeze. You can see how this is kind of all died back, but there's one that's come out, so it will come back. And this is, I say Astabile, and people tell me how wrong I am. I think it's Astaba, maybe not, something, I don't know. Astabile is what we call it. Anyway, but it's a really beautiful flower. But the frost, the hard freezes that we had in the last 2 weeks, God, it's so weird to even say we had hard freezes because it's so warm right now. So I did not plant this here, but this is just one of the grow bags that we used last year. I think we had lettuce. I don't remember what we had in it, but you can see chickweed has took over. Ain't it beautiful and lush? So I've been feeding some of it to the chickens, but I'm gonna cut a handful of it to throw in mine and Corey's saute that we're gonna do. So as you can see, I need to wash dishes before I can even wash the greens. I've got and clean out my sinks. I've got mine and Matt's supper laid out. I've got some soup that I'm going to make for us. So I've got some of our winter squash laid out. And I've got some little chicken cutlets that Corie and I are going to eat for lunch. And I'm going to beat these, and I'll show you a little trick that I do just to make them really thin and fry it fast. But first I'm going to clean up and then wash my greens. I wash the things we harvested from the yard several times. Now I just have them kind of soaking in cold water. Once I drain them again, they'll be ready to saute. I'll kind of pat them dry a little bit. Now I'm going to get mine and Corey's chicken started. So I prefer chicken that has the bone in because I think it's much more flavorful. But sometimes these little kind of chicken breast cutlets come in handy for something quick like what I'm doing today. And I get these at my local grocery store at Ingles. They're in the kind of just the cool section with the chicken, and the brand, it's like an organic chicken. It's Harvest. You can also find them, I think, at Walmart. They're in the, you can buy them already frozen, so that's kind of handy if you're going to freeze them anyway, just for future use. But either way, you might be able to find them if you're interested. You may not be interested. But what I like to do if I'm doing them, what I'm going to do today for me and Corie, is that they're already sealed up in there, so they're easy to kind of flatten out so that they cook really quickly. And I don't have a meat tenderizer. Me and Matt always, we've had this candy ice cream, not candy, but ice cream scooper for years, and I just use it. So I'm just going to flatten these out by using this, and since they're enclosed in there, it makes it really easy because you don't have to worry about splatters. Okay, I've got those done. I'll cut them open, and I said you don't have to worry about splatters, but if you've seen splatters, it's water where I had them sitting in the sink thawing, but nothing on the inside come out. So I'm going to cook them very simply, just season them, and I'm going to cook them in a mixture of olive oil and butter. Just cook quickly on one side and then turn it and flip it on the other side, and those will be ready to eat. Okay, I'm just gonna do really simple seasoning with just garlic powder, salt and pepper, and pan's hot. Try not to pick them up, but it looks like I'm gonna have to. Okay, while those are cooking, I'm gonna whip up my batter for our dandelions. Corie says I didn't season enough. She's gonna re-season. She's gonna re-season hers. That's alright. You like a lot of garlic. It's okay. Are you even getting something else? What, you getting parsley? Put some of that on mine too.
I'm gonna go to town with the seasoning.
So Corey's helping with the seasoning. I like this. Someone sent me.
Oh, that stuff's great. I will say though, be careful. That's got salt in it. At this point, since we've already salted, you don't want it too salty.
Put a little bit. Okay. Now while those are cooking, we'll get our other stuff going. And Corey's putting some, what was that, paprika? I don't want no paprika. I have a video about last year Corie and I made dandelion, fried dandelions, kind of like individually. They were like, what are you thinking about? Kind of like okries, what they reminded me of, fried okrie. So I'll link to that video. I also have video about hostas. I forgot about that. I'll link to that one. Tells more details about it. But today I'm just going to make like a quick little kind of fried cornbread, and I'm just going to throw the dandelions in there, the dandelion blooms, instead of doing it like we did last year. So I've got about a cup of cornmeal, an egg, and some olive oil. And then I'm going to add some half and half. Because me and Corie both are too lazy to go to the basement and get milk. We're hungry. You can't wait on walking down the steps, right, Corie?
That's right.
Okay, that looks good. And we're just going to throw our dandelions in there and see what happens. This will be good. So while I've got our first little cornmeal pancake kind of going, I'm going to go ahead and add some olive oil to the pan in the back so that we can do our greens. And I'm going to add a little bit of butter too, just for flavor. This is going to be good, Corie. I'm hungry. It's smelling good in here. So we flipped the chicken, and then we're just going to turn it off and leave it, and it'll be done. We're about ready to flip that one. You could have chopped up all the greens, but we're just going to leave them just like they are. All right, Miss Seasoning, do you want to season the greens?
Reach me the salt and pepper.
Reach you the salt and pepper. Here you go.
Coming in from the side too.
Okay.
There's never such thing as too much garlic.
I do like it.
I eat garlic raw, like the minced kind.
Yeah.
When I'm done, putting it in whatever, I lift the spoon.
When I use garlic in my pickles, then that's my favorite. I hunt for those little garlic pieces. Yeah, let's get our first one out. Okay, I think it's about time we'll let this keep cooking while we take up the rest, Corie, and dig in. Okay, we've got our little quick dinner ready. We're hungry, so we're ready for it. So I'm gonna, you want me to go first, Corie?
Yeah.
Cornbread by itself looks delicious. Look at that flakiness. Let's see if we can see there's one of the dandelions in there, cooked up in it. That'll be good. Okay. Do you remember which one was yours?
That's yours.
Oh, this is mine? Okay. Chicken looks good and tasty. And then our foraged greens. I know the hostas are going to be the best. I might should have chopped up the chickweed, but it'll be okay. Now, do you like anything on yours, Corie? Your daddy loves vinegar on his. We may have to get you some vinegar. Looks pretty nice, doesn't it?
My turn?
Your turn, yeah. You get your plate and then we can taste.
I'm gonna use my fingers. Sorry.
Well,
I'm in a hurry.
Just me and you, so I can't wait on you. I'm gonna taste my
Go ahead.
little hosta shoot. Tastes so much like asparagus. If you like asparagus, you definitely like it.
I'm eating with my hands today.
It's okay. Dandelion cornbread is good too. There's one of the dandelions. Did I leave you a leaf in? Until I didn't look them good enough, huh?
This is good.
Very good. So there's all kinds of, like I mentioned that I had a video about hostas and one about frying the dandelions last year, so we'll link to them, but there's tons of videos on YouTube and tons of information, blogs and things online. So if you're worried like about how to identify whether it's a dandelion or, you know, hostas, from my understanding all hostas are edible, but again, you can do your research. There's just so much information out there. And it is so that you can go learn more. I know we just kind of glossed over it and got right to the food since we're hungry. But it is amazing that you can just go outside and harvest, you know, especially this time of the year. It kind of goes back to tradition in Appalachia is that people wanted in the spring, they were like me and Corie, they were craving that stuff. And in the same way, they didn't have stuff in their garden, so they were out harvesting things. And I've got a video about spring tonics. A lot of people took actual tonics, but a lot of people looked at like what we're doing today, just going and getting their first mess of. A lot of people ask me about poke salad. I didn't grow up in a family that ate poke salad. Daddy, Pap, he didn't like it. He said he would only eat it if he had to, like when he did when he was a boy. And I've eaten it once or twice, and I didn't really care for it either. So it's not. That's one of the things I've not continued. But eating those first fresh greens, creasy greens, so many come to mind. Watercress, different things, was really a kind of a rite of passage of spring for people in Appalachia. But of course in other places too. All of us, when you've been inside during the winter, and especially in those days when you didn't have fresh vegetables, you just craved it. Your body needed it. You know, the old people like Granny would say it would build your blood up or purify your blood after being closed up in the house all winter. Granny wouldn't say that though. She wants you to be closed up, don't she? She's worried about you taking cold. So Corie and I hope you enjoyed kind of harvesting our dinner with us as we cooked it, and we're going to go outside and sit in the sunshine and enjoy it. As always, we hope you'll continue to drop back by and help us celebrate Appalachia. And Corie's running. Yeah.